The Sandy and Toddcast is a Mindgarden Media podcast in association with
Screw You, Todd
Productions.
Broadcasting from two very different yet magical places not found on any map. Get ready to discuss the strange, weird, ghostly, crazy, spooky, and odd things that take place around us each and every day. All while having a little bit of fun. This is the Sandy and Toddcast.
And welcome once again to the Sandy and Toddcast. She is Sandy.
He is Todd.
And here we are, episode 4 of season 12 on the Sandy and Toddcast.
And it's been an interesting few weeks. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, it's just life. It's just life.
So last week, let's back it up just a little bit. So back at the beginning of April, we're just going to summarize it. I had an investigation up north in Saranac Lake. And it just so happened that following Monday was the eclipse, the total solar eclipse. And I don't know what in the world was going on. I'm assuming that the energy from the sun and everything that was going on just kind of ramped up all of the paranormal, spiritual energy, whatever it is that you'd like to call it. And for 3 days after we got home, there was crazy activity in my studio. Now, it's important to put a disclaimer on there that I get activity in my studio. That's nothing new, but it's very occasional. I do believe that some of it is my friend Trey, who next episode we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I do believe that some of it is my friend Trey. But now, after this crazy flurry of activity, I'm starting to understand that really it's not just Trey that's coming for visits. And I've been trying to get down to the core of what exactly is the reason why they come to me so much. And I know that probably some of it is my crystals, the energy from my crystal collection probably draws them here, but you have a theory as to why they come to see me too.
Yeah, my theory is that because you do have some psychic abilities, and every psychic I've ever heard speak and talk about their abilities and their life, they all say once they find out, right, that then that's it. Like, you can't get rid of them. They're always there.
Yeah. And I believe you're right. I do believe you're right. It took me a little bit of thinking about it to really kind of come to terms with it, because I'm like, is this my life? And it is my life. And that's okay. I'm fine with it. I'm really fine with it, because I feel like I can help. If I thought that I was just being barraged and I couldn't do much to help, then it would be different. So back to the studio issue. I was having particular things happen. I have on the top of my cabinet in here is there's like a Ghostbusters car, and there's a Scooby-Doo mystery van, and there's 2 little figurines, a Shaggy and a Scooby. And the Scooby just started flying off of the cabinet the few days after the eclipse and the investigation. Now, I also want to say too that whenever I have an investigation, I do a lot to cleanse myself of any spirits. And so far, knock on wood, I've been good with that. And nobody has followed me. I haven't had any attachments. I haven't had anything happen. It's all about setting your boundaries and your intentions as you leave a location, as you leave a town, wherever it happens to be that you are. So I was pretty sure that whatever was going on was probably most likely caused by the ramping up of energy of the eclipse, because for 3 days in a row, I think we were even on one time. Oh, this was early. This was a while ago, but we were on, and right in the middle of recording, the ornament fell down from my camera. So you actually got to witness it. And so you and I decided to do a spirit box session together from a few states away, but doing it on the air, on the show. And we got some really interesting results. And it was interesting, too, because we actually picked up on quite a few of them in real time.
Right.
As they were happening. So what we did was we did the spirit box session. I went back and I reviewed everything. I sent you everything. And then the next week, we enhanced it. And we let everybody listen so that you guys could all concentrate on it instead of being in the moment like we were.
Right. You could listen back to it. Right.
Listen.
Yep.
Exactly. This week, we're going to go over the results. You've listened to them, Todd.
Yep.
What are you thinking?
I think a lot like the one that we did from my house. Mm-hmm. There were some very interesting things. A couple of names came through a couple of times during your spirit box session. And I think, again, everybody can look at it their own way, but I think you may have gotten some direct responses to some direct questions. And I also think that it kind of fuels my thought process that you might be kind of a beacon out there and you may have these kinds of things happening. Maybe not every day. Maybe not every week, but from time to time, you may be having energies come to you so that they can tell their story, be heard, be acknowledged, whatever. Yeah.
I agree. I'm sorry. You know how you and I are like fascinated by lighthouses?
Yeah.
When you said beacon, it made me think that I'm the lighthouse.
That's exactly what I thought of. To be honest with you, I pictured you on the top of this very tall tower, spinning around with your head blinking. So...
Well, figuratively, maybe I am.
Maybe.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I am.
It's a blinking
spinning around
beacon.
with my head.
Yeah.
With my head blinking. But so let's go through some of the stuff that I pulled out and see what everybody thinks and kind of discuss it. And then I have an update on what I did and also something that happened last week.
All right. So here's the first audio that we want to play for you today.
Can you tell us your name? That's weird.
So we both heard that. I'm not sure that we knew what it was at the time.
No, just that it was weird.
Right.
Like it sounded like it was somebody trying to speak, but we didn't really know.
Right. This one, it looks like you've taken that and slowed it down a little bit.
Exactly.
All right, so let's listen to that again, just slightly slowed down.
Can you tell us your name?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So when I slowed it down a little bit,
yeah.
It's important to note, too, that I don't change them. I just will slow them down or amplify them a little bit to make it a little bit easier. Most of these are much, much better with headphones on.
Yeah. But I hear it not only in the slow speed, but I also hear it in the normal speed.
Yeah, me too. And that was kind of, that caught my attention really quickly because sometimes, depending on, I think, the energy of the spirit, sometimes you can hear things like kind of deep down under some layers.
Yeah.
And it's very hard. She came through pretty strongly. So it's pretty easy to hear that when I asked her name, she said Nancy.
Yeah. And
so
it was over several different channels of the radio. It was almost like it was Nancy.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know if it was broken up that much, but it was broken up between at least 3 or 4 different frequencies on the radio.
You know, it's funny. I'm sitting here. You can see me. I'm smiling as we talk about these because to me, this is just phenomenal. And it's sort of like my Trey Spirit Box sessions where you and I were both like, how can you deny that? Like, you can't deny things like that. Like,
yeah.
That's an intelligent answer to a question. It's just, I'm a kid in a candy store because it helps me to, not only is it exciting, but it helps me to understand more. And I want to learn. I want to learn what is going on. So, all right.
So this is number 3. Looks like we may have a possible answer here. Check this one out.
Can you tell us who you are?
That kind of sounded like somebody said wannabe, but I'm not sure.
I thought it was kind of like wannabe. Now, it doesn't really sound like a direct answer, but I thought it was interesting that it was a full word.
Yeah.
Because, again, full words or phrases are very rare in the theory of spirit boxes.
And we did hear that real time.
Real time.
Yeah.
Which was very cool.
All right. Maybe they were singing the Spice Girls song.
I thought about that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Only we would. Okay, here's another one.
If there's any energies that have been hanging out in Sandy's studio, can you come forward now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all heard that one.
That was pretty good. Next one, another cool one. Another question with what seems to be a very direct response. All right, what's your name then?
William?
William? Yeah.
That was exactly there. Yeah.
That was there. I even slowed it down a little bit to make it even more obvious.
All right, let's check that one out.
All right, what's your name then?
Oh, God.
William?
I mean, that one was very obvious.
William. Nancy and William were hanging out with me. Yeah.
Next one is apparently right after that, we probably asked the question, is this William? And this is the response we got.
Is this William we're speaking with? Maybe.
That may have said maybe.
Yeah.
That was pretty clear. With the headphones on, it was pretty clear. It was
right.
Maybe.
Yep. So a question, whenever we do a spirit box session or any kind of investigation, we're always looking for ways to help. So one of the questions I think we asked was, do you need help? And this is the response.
Do you need help? Get help.
Get help.
Yeah. Get help. That seems to be a recurring theme, as we'll hear.
I mean, I think we noticed that day, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Which is, again, what fueled my thought process that energies are coming to you now, for
and when we get done with these, we'll talk a little bit about my experiences with that kind of thing.
Okay, so let's listen to this one.
Can I help you in some way?
Not sure what that said.
We thought at the time, it may have said something and then a while.
Okay.
But that one's kind of up in the air. Not really sure about that one.
Okay.
Can't say without a shadow of a doubt that's what we heard.
Okay. Then you asked if Trey was there with you, and it sounds like this.
Trey, are you here with me? No?
That sounded like an accent, didn't it?
It did.
No?
It did.
Oh, no, I'm not here with you.
Maybe William was English.
It's possible.
I don't know. It's possible. Very possible. I don't think that they have borders on the other side.
Right.
We'll see. In 2008 at the Cashtown Inn in Gettysburg, the infamous EVPs that I got, there was a man speaking in Celtic, and he had an Irish brogue. So
makes complete sense.
Yeah.
All right, check this one out. We ask how many are there.
How many of you are here right now? Can you give me a number?
I thought I heard 40.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Yeah.
You picked it up.
Yeah, I heard that one.
It's pretty clear 40, which is kind of like unsettling to know.
I was going to say, that's a little room for 40 people to be hanging out in there.
I don't know. It's a little crowded in here apparently at times. Okay, so this is, to me, probably my favorite of all of the clips that we got. And the reason why is that it's a whole several seconds of not only what sounds to be a conversation But they just keep repeating the same thing a couple of times. And it was just became a really important one to me in understanding what was going on.
All right, let's play this one.
Why do you come to stay with me and visit me? Do you feel safe here?
Stop.
Stop. Do my crystals make you feel, do they draw you here? So,
Boy, there's a lot there, and I'm not sure exactly everything that I necessarily hear, though.
If you pump it up and you put your headphones on, to me, and there was one in the very, very beginning that I missed, so there's actually one more. It sounds like several different voices to the 40, to the idea of the 40.
Right.
Several different voices saying either safe or it's safe every couple of sweeps.
Let's listen to it again. Let's see if we can catch that.
Why do you come to stay with me and visit me? Do you feel safe here?
Stop.
Stop. There's like 5 safe in there. And it was do my crystals make you...
I could stop it, okay.
It was interesting because at one point it sounded like someone said, it's safe? Like a question, but they're safe. It's there's like 5 of them that I can count.
Yeah. And there was something else that I thought I heard that kind of tied into that. I heard the word free.
Maybe.
So if you listen back to it, I think there's a male that says free. What that pertains to, if you can kind of say, well, maybe they feel free because they're not trapped someplace or whatever, or they want to be free. Who knows? But you can't overthink that stuff too much.
No, you don't want to overthink it. But that whole series, to me, that whole clip, that segment was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, it would be one thing if we heard safe. Okay. Okay, that's fine, you know. But to hear it that many times and to hear it with different voices really kind of, I don't know. It wasn't at all unsettling. It actually was, it made me feel good to know that if they are here, that's why they feel safe here.
Mm-hmm.
But that was mind-blowing to me because that was not just one it's safe. That was several it's safe. And just as an aside, I had something happen to me last week that I'll talk about, and I did do another spirit box session, so we'll talk about that in a little bit too. All right. So that was mind-blowing to me. That one right there was like mic drop, and I was just like, I can't even continue. So I stopped for a little bit, and then I started up again.
Okay.
And the next one, it was just kind of a neat answer, because I asked about my crystals, because, of course, your crystals give off energy, right? And so... And they're good for different types of healing and you know, meditation. So that was my question. Do my crystals draw you here? Do my crystals make you feel, do they draw you here? Kind of.
That's what I thought too.
Again, something we heard.
We picked that one up. And when you listen to it, it's definitely a kind of. Just another interesting one.
This one's titled "It May Be in a Way." Do you know what that's about?
I thought it could be "in a way" was the answer.
Okay,
sorry.
Let's check this one out.
Does the energy from the crystals draw you here?
In
a way.
In a way.
Hard to tell on that one. That was the
female. I don't know if it was Nancy. I don't know who it was, but...
This one says, not sure, but a sentence. Let's listen to this one.
Remove something on the cabinet. It's like whole sentences coming through.
Yep.
I don't know. It sounded female to me.
Yeah.
Like a deeper voiced female, but I cannot pick up what that is. I listened to it 100 times. I don't know.
This one is entitled, Tell Me What You Need. Let's just listen and see what we hear.
I can help you, but you have to tell me what you need. Don't know? I don't know. Are you confused?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, that was pretty clear.
And that would make sense too. Like, how would they know what they necessarily need, right?
Well, again, I say this all the time in my experience because I can only speak from my own experiences.
Right.
But a lot of times, people say, well, why don't you just quote unquote cross them over? Which I don't believe in. I don't believe in the term crossing over because not all religions, not all belief systems believe in a heaven or hell specifically. And so I prefer not to say crossing over. I say releasing, which releases them. And I explain to them that they have free will, that if St. Michael comes over and guides them to wherever they need to be, that will give them the free will to be able to come and go. They aren't binding themselves to one location or to the earth plane anymore. That's what I call it. So I do believe in my experience that sometimes they're just confused. Sometimes they don't know what they should be doing, how they should do it, why they're doing it. They just don't understand completely. And we've heard that several times from other sources as well. But I do believe that's the case. So it's possible. It's very possible that they could be drawn to here because they know I can help, but they don't know how I can help them. They don't know what I can do for them.
And I also feel like, just in life too, right? People will come to you and say, how can I help? Mm-hmm. And your answer is, I don't know. Like, I have no clue.
I don't know. I just know that I should be here, but I don't know what you can do for me. I don't know what I need to do, what I need to be at peace.
Another question is, do you come and go? Here's the response.
Do you come and go?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They do. I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they do too.
And this one I thought was probably, out of all of them, perhaps one of the clearest responses. This was at the very end. And I said, we're going to wrap up this session. We're going to have to go soon. And I asked, if you need help, let me know now. If you need help, let me know now before we end the session.
Oh, yeah.
There was something
clear help.
Yep.
That was another mic dropper for me. That was pretty.
But then after
direct.
this, what did you do? Did you do any cleansing? Did you do any, or did it just kind of ramp down after that?
Well, what I did was, I actually, if you remember, I actually kept a log of what was going on. So Monday was the eclipse on a Monday. Tuesday, so Monday night is when it started. I had two pretty big incidents Monday night. Tuesday, I had a couple more. Wednesday, I had a couple more. And it was interesting because not every time was I in here when it happened. Sometimes I would come in and things would just be on the floor. And so we didn't do the spirit box session. We did the spirit box session, I think, on that Saturday. And after we did the session, I hadn't even reviewed it yet, but I said, well, we're pretty sure it was a William and a Nancy. What I'm going to do is, I said to myself, I'm going to do a release, and I'm going to call on St. Michael, and I'm going to ask him to come and guide them to where they need to be, whoever is in here at this particular time. So I did. And I immediately, I think I told you this. I think I messaged you and told you this, that I immediately felt like a weight had lifted out of the space. Mm-hmm. Like the air was less heavy. It was much lighter in here. It was just like a night and day type of thing. and I had nothing going on. Like, pardon the pun, but like it was dead in here. Like there was nothing. And I do get occasional activity, but for like 3 weeks, I had nothing. It was quiet. And what I did was I explained to them that he's coming to get them. They have free will. They can come and go. They don't have to stay in any one location. They have the ability to choose. Do they stay with St. Michael? Can they come back? What can they do? They can do that. Then last week, I'm sitting here doing some work because my work is at home and it's evening. And I'm sitting here, and all of a sudden, to my right, where the cabinet is, I hear a click, and then I hear a bang. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And it was just, I think I told you before we started recording today, it was so funny because it was like in some kind of a horror movie or something. I just stared at the screen, and for a few seconds, I didn't even look. I didn't even look because I knew what it was, and I didn't even look. And slowly I turned my head to the right, and not only was the Scooby-Doo now lying on the floor, but the ornament, the other thing that tends to get thrown around in here, the ornament was on the floor. So they actually happened at exactly the same time, Todd. And I was like, oh, somebody's back. I don't know why they choose those items. I mean, there's so many items that could get thrown around in here. I don't understand it. The cars that are on top of the cabinet have no blocks on them, so they can literally just slide all over. Nothing. I have some Funko Pops, some Addams Family Funko Pops on display on the cabinet with a Casper the Friendly Ghost on the very top. He could get tossed. None of those get tossed, but for some reason, those items, and they'll go months without being moved, and then all of a sudden they're moved. I have no idea. So that's what happened. So I'm thinking it might be time for another little bit of a clearing, but it's been quiet again for another week. So I don't know. I know they come and go. Does it need to happen all the time for me to move people on? Not unless I feel like it's an urgent situation, but I have no idea. But what I will say is that after that happened, I did do another spirit box session and got a couple of interesting responses.
Are you going to share those with us next week?
Yes, I have them. I'm just going to share them next episode and we'll see what we got. But yeah, it was a much shorter one because it was kind of quiet, but I did get a couple of responses. So I will share that with everybody too.
Cool.
Next time. Yeah. Interesting stuff.
I had something very interesting. Won't share it this week, but next week. I work in Green Bay, and the building that I work in is brand new. It hasn't been there very long. Mm-hmm. But ever since I've worked there, there's been some things that kind of happen. You're like, that's kind of odd. Like, why does it sound like somebody's coming through the front door and there's nobody there? And just stuff like that. Oh, that sounds like somebody, you're in the bathroom doing your thing and you're like, oh, somebody's walking down the hall and you're there alone. So it's like, why is this happening? And I had an experience in the last 2 weeks that freaked me the F out. I'll just put it that way. Did I tell you what happened?
No, you didn't. You teased me with it, and then we just haven't talked about it yet. So don't tell me yet. And it didn't just happen to me. It actually happened to somebody else who works with me, who believes in ghosts, and she's actually gone ghost hunting with me as a camera person in the past and stuff like that. She experienced it as well. Well, let's not forget, just because it's a new building doesn't mean, especially in a city like Green Bay, where it may have been built on top of where another building stood. And so, you've got layers and layers of years of existence.
Absolutely. And, that spot, we talked about this with Washington Island and the Native Americans and the French. Same stuff was going on in Green Bay, too. The French wanted that because it was a waterway, to not only parts of Wisconsin, but the Midwest and all of the Great Lakes. So you can get from the southernmost part of Lake Winnebago and other parts too of the state all the way to, the St. Lawrence Seaway and out to the Atlantic Ocean if you really wanted to.
When we came out to visit you a couple years ago, and we all went up to Washington Island and Door County for the few days, I did a lot of history research after the fact, which my big thing was I wanted to go to all the places that you guys filmed Haunted State at, which we did. We did the tour, and we got some cool stuff that happened in them, but I didn't really know any of the history. And so you're right. There's like layers upon layers that I would say probably from Oshkosh north is like one huge specific type of history. That area was all very, very important to the French, to the Swedes, Norwegians, to the the Native Americans, so big stuff there. And so it wouldn't surprise me at all if Green Bay, especially your location, what the heck was going on there before all these buildings? This layer of buildings was built.
Right.
This incarnation of the city was built, So I can't wait to hear that one.
Yeah, it'll be a good one. So we'll do that next week as well. Maybe we can
Lots of stuff coming up.
Yep.
And I got a few questions. And so we can tackle those. And also, I'll tell you guys about my Trey visit, where I went to the memorial on the side of the road by where he passed away and what happened.
Going to be a good season.
Yeah, it is.
And I think we both, we got summer coming up and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to do the podcast as frequently as we can. It may not be every week. You're going to be taking some time on the weekends to go to camp. I'm going to be busy with some work stuff. And every once in a while, we're going to sleep in on a weekend and probably not get a podcast out. So it doesn't mean that we're slowing down necessarily. We're just going to try and take things as they come over the summer months, because we all know summer gets kind of busy.
Yeah, it does. And so, if we're going to try and do every week, if we can't do every week, we'll definitely be back. We'll be doing every other week, that kind of thing. So just looking forward to a great summer and a haunted summer.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.